Hi everyone. Today I'd like to bring to your thoughts and your mind and your spirit and your soul and your heart and all of the parts that are sacred within each and every one of us individually a few answers to some questions that have been coming through over time, and I have to say thank you to everyone who's been asking these questions. So I thought it would be very important just to answer them on a video, which would then be something to perhaps download and keep with you as something for you to work with. Basically to explain to you a few things that might have been on your mind, perhaps not, perhaps there will be more from this video, and then I will address those in the same way, and then I will suggest that you download it as well. Since the material is very important for us to understand why things are the way they are. So I've written them down, the questions, and I've also answered them if some of you have seen. And I will be discussing these questions a little bit more in depth, and then I will also post them on my website for you to also look at, in case you are not able to hear or might be hearing impaired or visually impaired. So yes, I want to cover all of these things that we are thinking of. So basically, we want to know why things are the way they are, what's going on, what's really the root of it all. We want to know who we are. We must be able to have an awareness and a knowledge of what we understand, how we can relate to before we can actually even go forward and really see what is around us and perceive and observe in that particular way. And so I don't feel it'll just be only this video, but they will come up again, because I know that there will be many of us, more of you than us. All of us will be asking more questions, and so it will go. So someone asked, who or what are we up against? Who is the enemy, really? And I always say that you can't just look at something in plain sight. It is not just that simple. However, it does not mean that the knowledge of being aware is that visible either. So I want to explain to you that we must get to the understanding of what the word occult means, and then only from there on will you be able to understand what is hidden, because the word occult means what is hidden from sight, what is underneath the cap or the mountain iceberg. Why did the Titanic sink? Because it is in reference a symbol that is used widely in the world to bring a lot of information in for people. I see that they use it to create business plans as well. Anyway, let's not get distracted with that. So that is the reason why the image for this video will be an iceberg, because there is much to unlearn from what has been propagated in the society of the human species, as well as beliefs and ideologies, which is very, very important for us to understand what we know compared to in relation to what we then see and perceive and experience. And only in that way are we then able to create a foundation for what it is. So I answered these questions, and if you are wanting to know where I answered it, you will see in the last Promethean Thoughts video there is a question, and there were a lot of questions that I've answered there, but I will be discussing those answers in this particular series of Much to Unlearn. I think that is what I will call it. Okay, so what or who are we up against? And I answered, I said, I called them the Ministry of Magic. They are essentially related to the, let's call them a priesthood in a society that is hidden from sight. They operate from the void, not darkness, not shadows, but the void. And for us to understand what the void is, we have to understand this story. And this story is inherent in each and every one of you who is seeking the deeper knowledge of truth within yourself. Truth is unadulterated, and it is very direct, yet it is kind, and it depends on how you respond and feel, how you react towards that truth. So in actuality, I want to say that it's inscribed in each and every one of your cells of your form of your existence from many, many lifetimes that you've lived and that you've been seeking to understand. And so consider this video is very important to assist you in your path forward. And also, let me say this, do not take everything that I say as verbatim. You must allow yourself to feel what you feel. If you feel familiar with what I'm saying, there's your answer. If you feel not familiar with it, if you feel that it repels you, then that is something that you must then avoid. I am not going to hold you to stay here at all. I want you to explore and find out as much as you can about yourself, because that is what I've done for myself. I've personally gone into all levels that there could ever be, and I am still going through all of these levels. And I do want to say this, do not let yourself become distracted by the sights along the way as you are going into this discovery. So, the Ministry of Magic, or the priesthood of an order or a temple, is something that makes a person feel uneasy, makes you feel uncomfortable. And before I continue, this video will be long, it'll be lengthy, so I would suggest that you stop and then listen again to what comes to your consciousness, to how you feel, and go back again to listen to it again until you have an understanding or an awareness and an alignment to what you feel within you personally. And let me say this, that we need to understand that we have a soul. A soul is an independent element that exists temporarily. It does not have infinite life with regards to the plane of reality that you function in. It is a persona of your spirit. And I've brought this up before in numerous videos where I explained that you need to look at yourself as a scenario or an example of going and hailing an Uber taxi for that reason. And it's important that you understand the position in how it exists. Okay, so the Uber taxi is the taxi itself, the vehicle itself is this vehicle, physical vehicle. Okay, the taxi driver is the soul, the persona of the vehicle. The GPS and the other instruments in the vehicle are related to the mind and the ego. Ego can never be destroyed. Let me just tell you this: you can never destroy ego, and you never must even attempt to destroy your ego. Your ego is an important factor to your existence. It helps you to find your path, to learn to become courageous in yourself, not to run away. You can regulate your ego. You must be able to be in command of your ego, but it must never be destroyed. It is a necessary element to your existence. Okay. The ego is the GPS of the Uber driver. Okay. You need the GPS. You don't want to be controlled by the GPS, but you need to be able to have the GPS if you are feeling a little lost. Okay. Fight or flight syndrome, that is what I call that, is when the GPS is completely out of sync, when it is not being utilized in the right way. You have to be in control of your ego. The passenger in the vehicle who sits in the back is the spirit. The spirit is infinite. It will exist forever. It is an embodiment of the great supreme force, God, the creator element. It is neither masculine nor feminine, yet it is a balance between those two polarities. And that in itself is called electromagnetic energy. The spirit is operating in two parts. The first part on the left side is the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain. The left side is masculine and the right side is feminine. Electromagnetic energy is electricity, which is masculine, and magnetic energy, which is feminine, the right side of the brain. And so in the same way, your heart is also, you are divided into two parts, yet you have your heart as the center point where the electromagnetic energy sits in. You are masculine also in the other way around. You are masculine, feminine, or feminine, masculine. Depends on what you are. Depends on who you are in your existence. It is very important to understand that you are able to allow yourself to operate in that frequency at any given point in time, that you have these parts operating together. Okay. The atom bomb, the atom symbol, is a symbol that shows a very similar representation of what you look like. However, the atom bomb was driven or was created with a very strong one-sided or one polarized experience. In other words, it is a symbol that was created in relation to human species to show the destructive side, as you know what the atom bomb has done. Okay. Earth, air, fire, water, and ether. Do not forget about ether. Earth, air, fire, water, and ether are 5 elements in which the human species exists within this reality. These elements are the building blocks that operate through your DNA, and through your DNA also relate to the frequency or the electricity that you have within you in this reality and how you operate with another person. Ether is overlooked and pushed aside so that the human element or the human species is unaware of its building blocks in fundamental existence. You are a whole being if you are aware of all of these aspects and layers around you. That is who you are. You have an auric field which radiates from the frequency inside of you that comes in essentially as a fountain pluming around you from your electromagnetic frequency. The color of your aura or your auric field or your energy field is in relation to your awareness of where you are and where you're situated within your vessel. When I say that, I'm saying that you are aware that at any given point that either you are existing in only one side of your brain where you operate in the right brain functionality or in the left brain functionality. And I will explain that as we go along. And in the same way, you can also find yourself, you may be sitting in your stomach. It is very important that you take note, that you fill in the entire form of your body, that you don't just sit in one place. When I say that, I am explaining to you that you, if you are functioning in your stomach, will be then having issues or wounds or traumas or experiences that you may have experienced where you have locked yourself in only the fear state of your existence in your stomach or in overconsumption, irrespective. Okay, if you're sitting in just the heart, you are either way, okay, you are then decided where you are operating from. If you're only heart focused, then you are left brain focused, which means you then allow your energy to become more dominant in that side of your existence, if you understand what I'm saying. If you are left brain dominant, that means you are sitting in the left side of your brain. It is said that you are very methodical, you're analytical, and you are very much logical in your thinking process. If you are right-brained predominantly, or in the right side of your vehicle, then you are predominantly artistic, and that you are then more emotional and more expressive. And you can see this in the media, where they often show a red and blue or orange and blue. They're playing with they're trying to trigger you into only one or the other side of your brain. The left is red and the right is blue. Okay, so you can see that that is a politically, sociologically, psychologically driven polarizing effect. And in the same process, it also brings you to the next part of the question. What is white and black in relation to each other? What is light and dark? And this comes up quite a lot. What is a light worker? A light worker is a person who is only existing in one polarized experience of their life. They do not allow themselves to see other energies or other experiences. Everything is either right or wrong. There is no moral or there is no moralistic connection or common sense awareness of being in alignment to morally aware or seeing that that person that hit that person is more, there is a judgment. It does not mean that you are doing bad things. It doesn't mean that you are doing good things either. It means that you are having to understand that you are not just this side of your face. You are not just that side. Otherwise you get this. Do you understand? And the same goes for dark or black, whatever you want to call it. Dark, polarized element is in the same process someone who operates in the dark. Someone who perhaps may not have seen the light that they are operating in. They have not seen all of the entire picture. Therefore, they operate in a dark aspect. does not mean, again, that they are correct or wrong, right or wrong either. It means that they are operating in the same process as the other one. The one is blinded by light and the other one's blinded by darkness. They are both blind. Do you understand? The next part of this question: if you call yourself a light worker or a light worker, you then want to automatically identify yourself with someone who does good. Good versus evil. Okay, automatically then it references us that those who are not light are evil. And the same in the other way if you're only one polarized. So that is what I mean by polarization. If you're only seeing yourself as that or that, you are meant to see yourself as an entire being where you are looking at everything with dimension. You are not, if you're polarized in one particular way, it means you only see in a one particular dimension or two dimensions. You do not see more, and therefore you cannot then call yourself as someone who's going on trying to save the world. You cannot do that either, because that then references itself to the greater good ideology, but that for a little later. Coming back to occult. Occult means to operate from within, that which is hidden. Essentially, occult must be understood for its etymology, meaning that which is hidden from plain sight does not mean it is evil. Okay. What is hidden in plain sight is awareness, knowledge, the fundamental understanding of what is morally correct and morally incorrect. What are your morals? Do you have morals? Have you ever explored what they are? Are you aware that if something requires you to do a certain thing, is it making you feel uneasy? Have you forgotten your original instinctive sense of being? And in this way, I want to bring to your attention that though the Ministry of Magic is trying to run the occult for themselves, because there is such a big reference to, or a big misunderstanding to the word occult, that it means evil, when in actuality it's like I'm calling you bread is evil, but I don't say which bread. Okay, do you understand? It's just a word in relation to something that is inherent inside of you. Knowledge. Okay. What is knowledge? Knowledge, and I'm saying this particular knowledge that we are talking about on this channel. This particular knowledge that we are talking about on this channel with each and every one of us here is the awareness that we are in alignment with our spirit, soul, heart. We are masculine and feminine. We are aware that when we look at something, that we always operate from within first before we operate from something that is outside of us. We have to understand that if we operate from within ourselves, that we are inherently able to bring out that information through thoughts. This is relation to creation. When I think of something, and I am then able to bring that thought into my consciousness, which means my temple, where I'm thinking, literal temples. I am thinking here about that plan. It comes here, and that plan then becomes, I work on it, I think about it, I discuss it, I share it around, I express it. And then that thought that is now being seeded within my consciousness then becomes spoken about and brought into this reality makes it become a reality. That is creation. Okay. Now that we understand how creation works, we operate in the same way. Each and every one of us individually are creating at every given point of our existence. What I'm saying and what I'm doing can be separate from your creation. I am not your creation, and you are not my creation, but our creations individually create a bigger creation, and more of those creations create extra creations, and so it goes forward. So what I'm trying to say is people are creative at any and all given points of existence. Words are exceptionally important to be mindful of, so that when we speak, that we have thought about what we say before we speak, before that becomes a creation also, which tells you that, or which leads to the next question. You are able to create when you are in alignment within the natural, cosmic, and universal laws, resting within the psyche, spirituality within yourself, which is the spirit, the heart, and the soul. The masculine and the feminine process is how you think, and masculine is seeding consciousness, and feminine is creating the consciousness into reality. And in that way, you are a whole, individual, sovereign being. Therefore, you are responsible for your creations at every given moment of time. If someone says, pigs are going to fall out of the sky, and I keep fixating on it, it might just happen. It could happen. If you think, nah, that's just to weigh out, then you will cancel that, and you will then bring something else into that creative thought. Okay. There are many other videos on this channel where you will understand, where I've explained what creation is in much more depth than this video. So to come back to the explanation of what occult is. Occult means hidden. The word occult is merely a word for an action to hide wisdom or knowledge. The wisdom or knowledge is the knowledge that I've just explained to you in the other part. Therefore, the Illuminati and the Masons are only shop fronts for the priesthood that operates in the hidden or the void, where they are in control of the same wisdom and knowledge, except they are doing it for nefarious reasons, and that is what is important here to take note of. They are aware of all of the knowledge, that everything that is what we have just discussed in the first part. So what I want you to understand is that we must become aware of our sacred knowledge, our wisdom inside of us, and in that way we are also in control of ourselves, and in that way we are then able to understand where they and what they are coming from and for, and what they believe in, and so we can then differentiate ourselves from what we see as lies and what is also called the bending of the light, which will be coming soon once I'm done with the work, once I've put it together. It is then therefore important to understand that the shopfront, like I've just mentioned to you, the Illuminati and the Masons and whatever, all the hundreds of other little temples and things, cult groupings. I'm not blanketing. Oh, basically I am blanketing it just a little bit, just so that you can understand what they all are. They love to operate in the elements of awareness, of the knowledge, of the wisdom. So so what I'm going to say is, we are, by being in control of who you are and knowing what you are, these are all metaphysical terminologies to what you are as an existing human being, or a being of infinite potential. Therefore, that is your sacred knowledge, and that is your birthright that you are supposed to have and that you're aware of. Some have given this birthright away for materialistic existence, and some of us are seeking to find that within ourselves. This is why you are here, so that you can understand how to find this within yourself. And this is why the material on this channel is so specific and is so very much in a particular frequency that it's not the same as anywhere else. It is completely unique. It comes from within all of us as a gathering of great spirit individually, within where we exist in, from all walks of life, from all beliefs and all existences all over this reality, this plane of reality, or this planet, or this universe. And this information is inherent within each and every one of us as beings of infinite potential. What is also very important in the next part that I would like to share with you is that not by any way am I proclaiming or saying ever, and will ever do, is to say that I'm the leader, or I'm the master, or that I know everything and you have to follow me. Never ever ever will I ever say that, and I have ever said that, because I believe that we are all meant to individually exist within our individual sovereign consciousness, and that we are all part of Great Spirit in plural. Great Spirit is just another word which I love to use in reference to a greater force that is existing, or you can call it God. But God is a man-made name for something that a human venerates, or a being venerates, as above them. And so what I'm saying is, Great Spirit never attained for any one of us to exist as if we have to worship and we have to be subjected to that force. Great Spirit has always existed within each and every one of us, individually at various timelines and existences of lifetimes, where we are all contributing to allowing Great Spirit to expand and to grow in this consciousness. And essentially, it is also our way back to where we come from. That is why things are so tasting and why so challenging. It is hard to exist here. It is not by any way a lovely place to exist in, especially if you're in places where you're struggling to exist, to feed yourself, to live. And this is also why it was important to bring in material from Desmond Bernardo, where we had to learn to also take care of our physical vehicles. We have to. And a practical vehicle can then exist in a reality of multiple frequencies. And this is why the work goes hand in hand with each other. It was not designed that way. It just happened to expand in that way, which is, again, for my personal self, telling me that it really isn't related to a plan that Great Spirit is awakening within each and every one of us. And so therefore, where we are at various places in our existence, we are learning to understand who we are, and so progress forward within ourselves. So that should answer the question, why are we here? We are here because we are learning to rediscover ourselves as infinite potential beings, always creating, which is, you can call this the chalice, such another human word for it, but let's put it this way. It really is your firstborn right to know that you are an individual being that exists with love. You have a family, you believe in truth, or you are within your truth. You are aware of common laws, you are aware of natural laws, you are aware of your psychic ability, your spirited supernatural power, if you want to call it that way. It's a nice fancy word. It is just your psychic energetic energy within you, and that you are always existing within many dimensions, and you do not just have to limit yourself to the belief of 5D. Gosh, we're going to 5D. We are so much more than 5D. We are more, and I'm talking about this norm, this man-made, socially engineered terminology that we're all ascending to 5D. That is, can I say this? Bullshit. Okay? It is bullshit. We do not ascend in any dimension. If there is any ascendance taking place, we rise within our consciousness and we become aware of what is within us. And that means we are transcending, or we are use the word ascending. Ascend then within your levels of consciousness, if you cannot find another word that will fit that belief. And that means that we are multidimensional within our existence. We are multidimensional in relation to Great Spirit existing within and around us and creating alongside us. We are not leading each other on. I am not telling you that I am your guru and that means I will take responsibility for you. You take responsibility for yourself. That is your right to do that. So therefore there's no judgment in any of the material that I am sharing with you either. This is unadulterated truth for those who want to know where you are and what you're going through and what it is that you're seeking to understand. It is very important to just take note of everything always existing from within and coming out and then coming back in, and so like a breath of air in and out, and like a heartbeat in and out. And that is how we exist, in feminine, out masculine, in the same way. Your breath is masculine and feminine. You breathe in, it is feminine. You breathe out, it is masculine. The product after you have said what you said and you have thought about it is the child. It'll always be a child because it is the creation. It is that third element, that third part. The heart is in a metaphorical reference of that. The heart is not just the heart, it is also the center point of within you. The middle pillar or the star pillar. The star pillar taken away or rubbed out on the tracing boards, the Masonic tracing boards, where if you look at the picture of the Masonic tracing board, there is a sun pillar and a lunar pillar, a moon pillar, which denotes to their duality, where they show male and female dominant always in loggerheads with each other and always trying to cut down on that which is in the center, which is the star pillar or the higher consciousness pillar or the spirit pillar or that which is ether, uniting everything together, or the womb of Great Spirit, if you understand what I'm saying here. So I'm hoping that these answers that I'm giving you, and I'm loosely discussing it as it goes along, and as I said, prepare yourself for a lengthy video. I cannot break it up into parts because it is just too interlinking with each other. So play, pause, stop, go away, watch something else, continue playing. That's all I'm saying. And download it. Make sure you have it with you because it is for you to take with you. If you don't take anything else with you, you take only this material with you, then you are more than halfway in awareness to where you're going and what you will be experiencing. Okay. So now, moral laws. What are morals? I think you understand that if I say moral laws, it would say that if there is a murder that takes place in front of your eyes, it is moralistically not something you would have to wonder, was it done out of self-defense or was it done out of malevolence? Literally, what does your common sense tell you? Common sense, to use that word, is such a word that's so damaged, or it's changed so much that I think there's so much belief has been placed outside of the consciousness within, that there forms within the mind perhaps fragmented parts where you think, a serial killer that gives a story that it's okay to kill because he felt it was needed to kill the serial killer to kill another person because he raped a child. That vigilantism, or superheroes that so it messes with your mind. You're conflicted at any given point. They say things that are beautiful and lovely, and I'm saying visually, and what you're experiencing around you in the media and the mainstream and blah 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 blah, even in people around you, that you have to go for this thing, otherwise you're going to kill me. That messes with your psyche. It makes you feel conflicted, and you don't know what it really is. It makes you feel uneasy. That is what I want you to become aware of. You feel uneasy. Why do you feel uneasy? And explain it to yourself. Talk to yourself. You can talk to yourself, of course. I do. And it doesn't mean you're mad. And that is another human judgment. Okay, so they are trying to take you away from having an inner conversation with yourself, within the temple, with God. Okay, that was written in the books, in the historical book, or the Bible, and in so many other novels as well. That if you go into the upper chamber and have a conversation with God, which means you're going into your thoughts and you're having a deeper conversation with yourself and within your higher consciousness, with being aware that you're communicating with Great Spirit, then you will understand why you feel uneasy, and you will understand, and you will ask all these questions. I do every day, all the time. I'm in constant conversation. Okay, so what is the shape of the earth? Shape of the earth is spherical. Okay, it is as flat or as square or as bowl shaped or as whatever you want it to be in your perception. So therefore, my perception, personally for me, it is within a universe that is egg-shaped. And for those who have seen the previous videos, where I mentioned that we have decided to turn the egg the right way up with the pointy bit at the top, is how it was supposed to have been. Unlike certain priests, which I'm now going to call all of them priests of the occult, of the temples of cults, where the information was that they took the egg and they turned it the other way around. Okay, a long story for another video. Basically, what I want to explain to you is that, okay, scratch this. Next question. Why do they want to destroy the human race? The Ministry of Magic wants to destroy the human race because they can. There is nothing else other than that. They can because they feel that they are in control of the hidden knowledge. Remember, the occult is hidden knowledge, the hidden knowledge of natural laws, universal laws, of spirituality, of in control of the psyche and that which governments the mind and the thoughts and all of those. The common law. They believe they are in control of it, therefore they believe that they can destroy the human race. That is a very interesting question. So in order for me to explain why they want to destroy the human race, I have to bring you back to another story. And the other story is this, something that is part of the human history, which I've never spoken about before, but I've thought it was important to bring it in. I've carried the story with me for a long, long time. And the story has come with me along all my lifetimes. I remember all my lifetimes. I have learned from each of them what I had to learn to bring into this lifetime. And that is why it is important for us to understand where we were when this all happened. So, from the last videos that I've brought in, I want to share with you that creation took place once upon a time as within layers. And the layers of the creation is like a layered cake, I suppose. And you have the first creation, which is the circle with the dot. There's a symbol of that. It is on my website to read the little quote that I gave, the last material that I spoke of with regards to the first creation. First creation was created as void with living souls. Living souls were men and women, or beings or people with living souls only. Therefore, their existence was limited to only being alive and to operate in the frequency that they did. Void. Void, not darkness. Void. Void means nothing. There is nothing there. Darkness means there's something, but you cannot see it. Okay? Learn to differentiate between those two terms. Then, as time moved on, the second creation was created out of the foundation of the first creation, where the second creation created beings that were life-giving souls. That is the second creation. The first creation had a temple of Babylon, had a pillar of Babylon in it. Okay? It also had the bloodline of Cain in it, in reference to what is in the historical book called the Bible. And Cain is somebody or something or an archetype that you have to be mindful of. Every now and then you'll see it come through. Do not become distracted by all the other stuff that is around that. Okay? And you will read this book in a different way now that you understand how to read it. So everything that is based in Genesis is all condensed in explaining the different creations. Okay? As we speak right now, we are entering into the third creation. And the third creation is what we are creating. We are essentially creating the third creation. It is not a New World Order. New World Order is a front or a name for an action, for something that is in order to a new world. Okay. The priesthood of the Ministry of Magic, that means all those who are hiding from you information, that are operating in the void where you cannot see them, that so much so you don't even know they exist. And that is how they want it. They wanted it that way. They operate from that frequency with the knowledge. And Cain was a very smart man. He was very intelligent and he was very aware of his powers. He incarnated again as a third generation child. I'm not going to go in there. It's too involved to explain here. And so what I want to share with you is that there were humans, okay? They existed as beings in the first creation, existing in the void. And the void is the first creation. And there was nothing else other than worship and ritual that took place. Second creation now suddenly had a name to the people that were in there called Adam and Eve, okay? Their bloodline came from that timeline. There's no mention about who Adam's father was, because that's not mentioned in that part of the book. But if you look further, you will find. I can't recall exactly what, but if I do, I will bring it up. That is not relevant right now. What is relevant is there is a difference between a living soul and a life-giving soul. A life-giving soul is a being such as yourself, where you are aware of your ability to create. You can create what I've just explained to you in the first part, where you are able to understand that what you think and what you are inspired to think about is a form of energy. It is light that descends. And that light then becomes something that you are working on, and then it becomes creation. Cause and effect. When someone says there's a problem and I think maybe I should do this, then that is me responding to that person's creation. And then we co-create, or we create. Okay. In the same process, I want to explain to you that the living souls are beings that are created or born or exist without the spirit. They exist only in a materialistic environment, the foundation of the second creation. That's why they're so jealous. That's why they kept bringing in that information that they are actually in control of everything, because essentially they swapped everything over. Everything was originally the other way around. Then they've inverted everything so that they will appear to be at the top. So we are essentially existing, or if we adhere to them and we give them power to control us, we are then steering towards something that squeezes us down into the bottom. We are spiraling down. Okay. The third creation is very important because it is still in building process. The third creation is us potentially deciding that we are going to be the order of the new creation that is coming in place. The new creation, or the world that we are bringing in. Therefore, I'm saying to you, you need to be very careful how you look and read and listen to what you are perceiving, so that you understand that it is an action. It is a word. It is a word of an action that they are actioning into place by using all your creative powers against you. We have the power to do it ourselves. We don't need these living souls to control us. We have spirit intact, which means we have spirit, heart and soul intact. We are in sync with that. They cannot create. The first creation beings, the beings of the void, the living souls, cannot create. They can only make, and they can only do what they are shown to do. It is not relevant or relative to any race that exists in any particular country at all. It is not related to any particular belief or a religion or a bloodline at all. They exist amongst us. They do not necessarily operate in the priesthood like the others do. They are also only considering themselves as that which operates from a higher place, and that means they know more than you do, because they know more than you do, because you're afraid to look at the words occult, and you're afraid to look at what is darkness, and you're afraid to look at things that are you don't understand. And they depend on that. They want you to move away from it so that you don't even bother looking, because you just don't want to know. Okay? Stop being polarized. Bring your courage towards yourself. Be in control of you. Face it. This is why all these videos that are on here, there's a video on my channel called, I call it Rituals and the Timeline. I was explaining to you how they want you to relinquish your power so that they can create a new timeline. I've been saying it all along. Yes, time does not exist, but time is relevant to the linear existence in this reality. So you have to admit and you have to become aware of that. Yet it must never be limiting you. Okay, so it is a way of how you think. So what happened with Cain? Cain killed Abel. Cain was the firstborn. He killed his brother Abel. And then Cain was very upset about it. Well, he was trying to hide himself. Abel's blood spoke out of the earth and said, my brother killed me. The second generation that we are existing in, we are the Abels, and you are also able and willing. Okay, so everything that I am talking to you about, everything on this channel is metaphysical. It means you're seeing the picture, there's more to the picture. You're seeing a painting and you see it's not just yellow, it's not just blue, it's got green and a little brown and a little shade here, and you can see it's got dimension to it. So multi-dimensional. Okay, this is what is important about the way we have to start thinking. When you're looking at anything, when I'm telling you, when you read something, when you look at something, look at the multi-dimensional levels to it. For example, and I'm going to bring this up again, and I'm going to say it here as well, there is this sudden revival of ABBA. They have brought in a music piece that is quite disturbing if you look at the wording, if you understand in a multidimensional level, that ABBA means father. Okay? It is a Hebrew word for father. Abba, father. My dearest father. Okay? And in their wording in this song, the new song, and I will bring it in the next video when I speak about the bending of the light, that they are trying to reference that there is a remembrance of an archetypal God once upon a time, and that the God has always loved you and has always coveted you as a lover. And that God is an egregorical belief or a belief system of a patriarchal element that is coming in. That is what they want to bring it in. Because they remember now, we are all creating a third creation. They are doing it with us, except they're trying to drive us to do it for them. Okay, they want us to do all the work. So we have to decide what we want to bring into this creation. This is why I said, if you want to see inside of your thoughts, bring in peace. If you want to see peace, bring peace in here first. If you want to see love, bring love in here first. If you want to see harmony and no politics that create segregation between races, then be at peace within yourself for who you are. Have the courage to admit if you feel you are going through things that you feel, I don't understand how that works. I rather not, just don't want to know. Fight it. Change it. Be humble enough to fight it and accept what you are wanting to bring in. It is not just love and light. Okay, it is not just love and light. It is love in a holistic manner, in an individual freedom. What is freedom? What is peace? What is peace really? And what is freedom really to you? It has to be connecting us to our roots of our family, traditions, harmony between people, community, support, love, care. Everyone works together. If you look at the country that you live in, the building that was burned down, whatever, random, okay? An example only. Who built that building? Not the architect. The people that physically had their backs bent down, putting the brick in by brick by brick by brick. And if they weren't working together, and they could have been Hispanic, Mexican, white, Asian, freaking whatever you want to call all the races of the world, all worked together in that building, and they all bolted up together. If they were in disharmony, do you think the building would have stood after it was built? Okay, so you understand that political and social engineering and social engineering are parts of fundamentally what they are driving you to break down. They want you to break down the once upon a time, you remember, but there were like 12,000 people that were all different from all worlds, all the countries in the world, they're all working together, and they want a little group to break it down, to say, oh no, but that, because that building represented a particular belief, or that statue represented a particular belief, it's now blanketing everybody, that, because of the money that went into it. Common sense. Find it within yourself. If you start to look at things in that way, I guarantee you, I promise you, and I can say this because I've experienced it. If you look at all of the elements that are involved in that, and the way that I've explained to you, you will understand that once you feel that you see what is being propagated and you shut it down within yourself, the first thing you want to do is feel anxiety and anger. It's a very basic primal feeling. You'll feel it, fight it, release it, breathe through it. Look at it again until it holds no more poison over you, even if it was a post to tell you, look at what they're doing. They're doing this. Okay? Do not let your creative power go in there and fuel it to go forward, because that is a part of sigil magic. Okay? That is called a servitor or a sigil magic. Sigil magic is showing you an image, and I want you to freak out, and I want you to feed that image so that you can make it happen. Okay? Even if it's happened or it's not happened. Even if it's CGI or if it's happened. It doesn't matter. Do not feed the image. Do not feed the reading material that you're looking at. Fight it. Okay. It is very important that we understand that this reality is not just material. This reality exists in multidimensional capacity. It means spirit is like ether within earth, air, fire, water, air, and ether. Okay? 6, not 5. 6 is the 6th level of understanding. Okay. Star Wars, funnily enough, made in their since Disney took it over, of course, put in there the Sith's overlords, painted them all ugly. They look like aliens with bones and horns sticking out of the head. And immediately the subconscious feels, no, freaking hell, I'm just not looking at the sixth part of my mind. No. Ether is like disgustingly weird and freaky. It's got horns and things all around its face. Do you understand? Sith means six. Okay. Only your blood can speak. You who have within your firstborn right the awareness of creative power, and who is in alignment to heart and morals and common sense, and you are in touch with your third pillar, you're in touch with your star, you have balance between the two poles, and you are whole. Only you who are aware of that will understand that that is why your blood can speak. Not saying that if you go for blood transfusions that it's not going to happen. That is another belief, okay? Another human belief. I am not dismissing human beliefs either. I am telling you, do not get distracted. This thing is designed to break down your heart, not some other stories. All the stories, I believe, I've noticed that there's like a shitload of stories that have been spreading around that this healer found that thing going on with a person that's just been injected. What is really going on, and understand this very clearly, is that metal that goes into your body breaks down your heart, your ability to feel, empathy between your soul, which is your interface with this world, and your spirit. In other words, there's this massive axe that's chopping the Uber car in half. Okay. And that is the problem. Your heart shuts down. If you are a person with love, and you've always been heart conscious, you've always been aware, and you have been injected, there is a chance for you to recreate and rewrite within your capacity the damage that has been done. This is, let me say this, I'm not saying this is going to happen, I'm not saying I'm going to say this and it's going to go, I'm not saying that, I'm saying you can do it, you can work on it. Okay, if you're not naturally a cold-blooded person and you went there and you did it because you had to, because you believed in something at the time, there is no judgment over you at all. What I'm saying to you is you have the ability to work alongside it and actually try to rewrite it. You can do it. I have not had experience with that before. I am still exploring that subject. So I'm leaving it as an open part for you to learn to explore. Again, your infinite consciousness. I believe, strong for me to say that you are able, we are able to recreate these things and change it in the way that we are meant to do. So, let me answer the next question. Question was, who is Satan and who is Yahweh? Satan, if you go into the last video that I've made, which I talk about the, if you look at the series of videos where I talk about the Libertine, the fall of Atlantis, the Catharsis, and Caput Manus, and capitalizing Ouroboros, start looking from all of those videos. You'll understand where I explain to you what Satan is. It is an archetype. It is a belief in an archetypal element. The element means to have. Satan is an action, a word that describes an action, which means judgment. Satanists are referencing that belief as judgment to say that they can do whatever they want and there's no law that can stop them. In other words, if they can invert that belief that they are being judged, then they have inverted it. And inversion means to turn things upside down. Okay. When you watch a movie and they suddenly show an image and it turns upside down, there is an inversion in that entire movie, and you will see everything in reverse or invertedness. Yahweh is the same. It is an archetype of belief of a religious aspect with regards to an old patriarchal system, and religion is a belief system that was created so that you will not be able to have access to you inside of you, but to go through another person to come to you or to go to wherever. Which means those who say that they are gurus or masters or leaders or whatever the case may be, main light workers, whatever, any of these things that these people say for you to show you how to get to you, following their route, following their beliefs, is misleading you from you. You are here because you want to learn about yourself. I'm here because I can share what I know and share it with you, because we are all doing it at the same time. We are all operating in different frequencies, but we are all working together in different frequencies, if you understand what I'm saying. Next question. Are we from this planet? My answer to that question is yes. You are not. You are from here, and you are from everywhere else, from all other planets as well. That is not important, really, other than to know that the planets are not just the planets as they are in this timeline, and that you must change the way you think when you look at the cosmological plane of planets. And what I'm saying to you is, the planets are there to show you that these are archetypes. They do physically exist in their archetypal form, and that for you to exist in this reality shows that you can also must not limit yourself to only this reality. Again, you are multidimensional, so don't limit yourself to thinking that everything here is just literally in that level. If you think in a linear way, what that means is you think from 0 to 9, and it goes in a line, and everything has a straightforward direction. There is black and white and this, that. It's flat. It is one-dimensional. If you think in a multi-dimensional level, it means you are seeing everything above and beyond and around it. You're seeing the entire energy for what it is. You're seeing that naught is just not naught. You're seeing naught is also negative naught, and you see positive naught, and you see naught is also spherical. And the same for one. And in the same, that is what I'm trying to say. It's how you have to sort of start thinking, work on the way you think. Everyone has it inside of them. You've just not actually paid attention to perhaps how it functions. Next question is, do we have superhuman powers that we don't know of? And my answer to that was yes, we do. When you're aware that you have a direct connection to your spirit and your soul through your heart, you are able to create as you exist. To create is part of your legacy and your firstborn right, as I've said. I will post these questions underneath this video so that you can follow with what I'm trying to say. Next question, if not, why are we here? So I believe I've answered that question already. So how did we become this helpless race? That's a good question. Because humanity's first fundamental flaw was to give away their firstborn right for a plate of stew. Yes, this is relevant to a part in the Bible, in the historical book where there's a reference to Jacob and Esau, and that is related to a bloodline war, which was also another created process, another programmed story. So what is important is to understand that if you give away your firstborn right, it means you go into a system or a society and you are being, let's say you go into a school, or rather, let me just say this. Let me say you go to a religious system and you've always been psychic and you've always had these amazing weird dreams and you could never understand it, and you always had this like sixth sense about certain things, and you were like, and you go to this place and they say to you, no, ghosts don't exist. If you feel anything that goes bump in the night, that's because it's a demon, and blah 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 blah, and all of that stuff. You have forfeited your firstborn right for a plate of stew. That is how that works. You give away what you've come with inherently. Did humanity do this when they came to this plane? Possibly, maybe not. Some did, some didn't. That is an open question to where you are, where you feel you are. You see, I don't go into the past to try and bring things in because it's not relevant. What is relevant is the now, when you're listening, when we are communicating in this way, and you are learning in this way to understand who you are. And then you'll pick up the pace wherever you've left it off, and you'll just carry on and rebuilding yourself. I don't fixate on the things of the past. That is also just a distraction. Focus on where you are now in this reality. I'm not saying I'm dismissing the past. I'm saying become aware of all of who you are. But don't stay in one place. Don't stay in here in your head or in your ear or in your nose or there. Don't stay in one place. Fill up inside of your body. Fill up all of you. Expand all of you. You can do it with breathing. Okay? You have to do it every day though. You have to. Because the system is so loaded with toxic elements and energy and frequencies and things that it's constantly making you feel like you want to hide in your belly button or you want to hide under your armpit. So I'm saying when you close your eyes and you see where you feel you are, where do you feel the most focus? If you feel it's here or there, or sometimes it's a sense of feeling, okay? Multidimensional sensory feeling. Okay, six sensory feeling. Then there was a question about the Galactic Alliance, and I think I can just carry on saying that anything that says that there's some sort of alliance and there's that, and it lives outside of this world and it's constantly watching us, it's going to save us, that is also a psyop. It is a psychological operation to, again, deter yourself from actually connecting with you. It says that there's something outside of there that's going to come and save you, and it's got your back. It is not the case. Okay, you are what you have been waiting for. Sorry, it sounds disappointing to some, and I'm all for self-focus, self-sustainability. Sustainability is not just physically going to plant little vegetables in your garden and live from that. It means this material that I'm sharing with you right now is how to stay in a spiritual, sustainable state at all times, and you can then see where you are going everywhere, wherever you go. Okay. There is no Galactic Alliance. Let me put it that way. And then there was another question. What security sequence is needed? Actually, no, you asked about if stargates exist to other planets, why can't we use them? Stargates exist and we are supposed to use them, but it is relative to where you are in your existence. You believe that you cannot use a Stargate, then therefore it is possibly also related to those who have hijacked the star system, Stargates as well. As I've said, your progression in able to utilize that element depends on where you are within yourself in your progress of growth. Okay. And then you asked, is it our DNA? And I said that the DNA is the frequency or the signature of the electrical current inside of you. It is a signature to you. It is your thumbprint. If you get something done to your DNA, then you alter your thumbprint. Okay. However, I want to say this, that the human being is rather a robust being, because even if the thumbprints are chafed off the thumb, it still means you can still be in control of your thumb. So you have more power to you than you think you have. You're going to work harder though, let's be honest. If my parts of my identity starts to break away, I'm going to struggle to try and find out where I am. That's why I'm saying find your spirit within you, tap into your spirit. And the only way to do that is to say, I am within Great Spirit, and Great Spirit is within me. And once you say that, you feel it, and you are within the presence of Great Spirit. Always come back to that. You asked about the third creation. Actually, you asked me about the third creation. You also asked me about where did everything go wrong and what is true and what is not. And I actually said to you that it goes wrong when you are believing that it goes, when you have forfeited your legacy or your firstborn right. When you have handed over your power to something else outside of you, and that's where things go wrong. It goes wrong morally. I'm also and then you mentioned something about you said we were the second and now a third. I was pushed. Why are they pushing for third creation? And I said, how do we differentiate between them? You said, how do we differentiate between them? Do they all know who they really are? And my answer to you is they do know who they are, and they know themselves better than we know ourselves. That's why I'm saying it's time to catch up. We need to start becoming aware of who we are. Once we're aware of who we are, we can see them. And they don't want you to see them. Although they are wanting to drive their hierarchy out into the public. This is why they heralded that music, that group to come in, so that it can trigger a lot of paternal relations, which is masculine, which is left side dominant. Okay. So I think what I've left with you is a lot of information. Under this video, I would like to ask you to give more questions, and please feel free to ask as many questions as you want, so that we can have these this series of videos expand. And once we are then able to understand where we are, we can then go back to all the other videos that are on this channel and then look at them in that perspective. And then you will understand how to operate going forward. I'm leaving all of this with you, with my love. And thank you again for supporting and being part of this living existence. And much love.